Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast. Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. We are back. It is 2024, and we are ready to do this shit again. Jacob's here, Aki's here, Bri's here, Grant's here. How's everybody doing?
Boo!
I'm fantastic.
I heard woo with a B and woo with a W at the same time, so I'll just say poo.
I was saying boo earns.
Boo earns.
I mean, I haven't had to hear Aki's voice for like a month, and
then why aren't you happy?
During that time, the sky just seemed so much more blue. I'm pretty sure there was some world peace that happened during that time.
I think the opposite of world peace has been happening, actually.
Yeah, no, but when you don't hear Aki's voice, it's like that's, I don't know. I was trying to go somewhere with it, but I'm just going to drop it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So what did everyone do in the past month and a half?
Played video games.
That's it?
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Well,
Everyone keeps telling me they think I'm autistic because I have very few hobbies, and I'm starting to believe them. So yes, that's all I did.
That's why they think you're autistic?
One of many reasons, but that is one of the primary ones. Yes.
There we go.
I went on vacation.
Where'd you go?
Nice. Where'd you go?
I went to a place that was not my home, and I relaxed. And then
What's
I came
that
home,
like?
Nice.
and everything was stress all over again. Yay!
Yay!
That's usually how vacations work. Did you stay in the U.S. or did you go somewhere else?
Yeah, I just stayed with friends.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, you gave such vague details, like, I went to a place, I slept in a bed.
Because she doesn't want you stalking her.
Well, yeah, no, duh.
I do have stalkers.
Oh, man, I am so sorry.
Sorry to hear that. Okay.
Do you have a crowbar? Because that fixes that problem real quick.
I have a medieval mace.
That might fix it even faster. Congratulations.
How heavy is it?
It's pretty freaking solid, and I've been trained how to use it. So, yeah, I don't keep like the baseball bat by the bed. I keep the big fat wooden mace by the bed, and I will, hit you upside the head with it.
I love that. It's like,
nice.
you think, people are like, you should carry around, mace, and then you have an actual mace.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Stand back.
Yeah,
I've got mace.
Knives. I keep knives in my bed, so.
In your bed?
Yeah.
Knives in your bed.
Uh-huh. I have one under the top bed, one under my pillows, one on the headrest, and one hidden under some other pillows that sit in the headrest.
Are they like folded knives or like in a sheath or something like that? Because otherwise it sounds
one of them's in a sheath, two of them are flick knives, and one is a proper pull-out knife.
Okay, because otherwise...
Are you a hitman? Like, are you expecting assassins?
Oh,
no, I'm just what you call paranoid.
Okay. So you are expecting assassins.
Yes, basically. I also have a small Louisville Slugger wooden baseball bat, also hidden under some of the pillows in the headboards. So it's a piece of crap, though. If I hit somebody with it, I'm pretty sure it would explode into pieces. Especially at this point, I've had it for 2 decades now. I think.
Yeah, but you really only need one good hit with it.
True.
That is true. The knives are kept good. I make sure they're sharp and oiled regularly. So
oiled, cool. I think I have a nightstick that that Viking Guitar gave me
Nice.
But I don't know where it is. It's the blackest thing I've ever seen, and I think it just rolled against the wall somewhere. So it's like it's just hanging out. I gotta find that.
Existing in void space.
Is it Vanta Black?
Is that the one?
I was going to say,
is that the Dark
Anish Kapoor cannot own your nightstick.
No. No.
Oh,
I went to North Carolina for 2 weeks. Visited my folks. Ate a bunch of biscuits. Watched a lot of banjo videos with my father and proceeded to try and play it. It's not very easy. My right hand game is not good. But do I still want a banjo? Absolutely.
Did you order one yet?
Not yet. No. Not the right time. Not the right amount of money in my pockets.
How much do those things go for?
You can get a cheapie, or you can go, $10,000. Well, it depends on what you want. You can always go used too. But one day, there's different kinds. There's claw hammer. Anyway. I'll get into the banjo game at some point. But now we're talking about banjos. So I did that, and then it was like a bunch of work, and then MAGFest happened last weekend, and I got to see Joe for like several days.
You did. It was awesome. Man, MAGFest was a good time. You performed there, which was pretty fucking cool. You had a 10-foot tall mother brain come out on stage.
Yes, we had a 10-foot tall animatronic 2D proportionally accurate Super Metroid mother brain come out on stage. It moves its arms, it breathes smoke, shoots lasers, drools, and has an LCD screen for an eye. Oops, sorry, spoilers. It's a real eye. It really was Mother Brain. Mother Brain came out on stage.
The real Mother Brain signed autographs afterwards.
No one behind the curtain, but yeah, it came out and stomped around and did its thing, and it was awesome. So the show was great. The whole show was great.
The crowd reaction to that showing up was something.
Let me tell you,
that was so cool.
A lot of people in that room, and I saw every emotion. I saw people were dumbfounded. I saw people screaming. People were just like completely blank faced. There were all the cameras sort of went to. It was really fun to watch because it's hard to process what you're seeing when you see pixels moving like that at that size. And this crew of like 3 or 4 people spent the last year building it, and then we were trying to coordinate it. And most of my day Saturday I wasn't even worried about rehearsal. It was I got to talk to security and stagehands and make sure they know there is a freaking robot that needs to be built and booted up on one side of the stage only so it can walk out the right direction. And it was a whole thing, but it worked. So yeah, it was fun. It was good for us and good for them. So it was awesome.
Any highlights, lowlights of MAGFest?
I got to be on the Lumberjacks panel with you. I got to sit next to
That
Purnell.
is a low light. That is true.
Yeah. Y'all, I was going backwards. Yeah. Purnell is so freaking tall, and I always forget. I'm 6'3". Purnell is 10 feet tall. We should have just given him a mask and have him walk out on stage. But he's big boy. But no, it was really fun, telling old MAGFest stories and stuff on the panel was super cool. So that was fun. Definitely
those should be online hopefully in the coming weeks, and people missed them. They could check those out. They could check out the concert when that's up. I want to rewatch it just for all the stuff I missed the first time around with Nate's visuals.
Yeah, I'm mixing the audio right now, and I think it's sounding pretty good. So I think that'll be up not too long from now. So we had 88-bit come out and play piano for a song, which is always fun to have piano and giant guitars playing at the same time. So that was cool.
It's good shit.
Yeah, it was fun. It was real good. It was good to catch up and hang out a little bit. Played some Prince of Persia, drank some cranberry cocktail, something or other.
Just some Prince of Persia?
Played a lot of Prince of Persia.
Well, it was MAGFest. We were MAGFesting.
Yeah, they were. Joe brought the Xbox and a little screen, and he was like, I don't know, you were like 30, 45 minutes into the game. And I was telling you about stuff later, and you were like, "Well, but load your save." And I completely lost my mind. I didn't know you could I don't know how this stuff works. So I logged in, and then loaded a later save, and I was flipping and jumping, being like, "Look at me!" And then I just kept dying. But
that happens.
Yeah, it does.
That happens.
But we had a good time. It was fun.
It was a good time. We'll talk more about MAGFest on the next episode when Purnell and Tim are hanging out as well. But it's been a month. It's been a crazy month too. There's a lot of news that we've got to tackle. Is there anything anyone wanted to talk about before we get into the news? I'll take that as a no.
Like what?
I don't know anything about
I spaced out. I'm sorry. What?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, Disney Dreamlight Valley, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, that probably is what all he fucking.
Okay, well then, what else did you do?
To be honest, not a whole hell of a lot.
Jesus.
Because no, shut up. Because my family was literally sick for a month and a half.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was just constant like colds or flu or strep throat. Like my youngest essentially had pretty much strep throat for like off and on for a month. And it was just like a really strong, like the antibiotics like weren't taking care of it. And finally, like the week, pretty much the week of Christmas, is when we finally had like a healthy home again. Amazingly enough, because, you know, obviously school's not happening, so none of my kids could get sick. My wife, like, you know, the college where she works at was closed, so she couldn't go there and get sick. Like, you know, oh God, that was just terrible.
So you were sick the entire break.
Pretty much. And then also I played a shit ton of actually, I mean, yes, I did play a shit ton of Disney Dreamlight Valley, but I actually decided to fire up some, like, you know, games that are not that. And I played through Stubbs the Zombie.
Oh
wow. The remaster?
Yeah, the remaster of it that they've released on Xbox like a couple of years ago. So, you know, I fired that up because it's okay. Like, I get what they were going for, but like, it's kind of like, I don't know, like it's kind of odd. Like, I like the idea of it, and I liked a bunch of the missions, but like some of that shit just falls flat. Like, especially like the dance off against the general. It's just, yeah, like it's mini games that you can't skip, and it's just like they're more infuriating than fun. But I could also see why the game never got a sequel. Like, it's okay, but you just feel like there should have been more to it. At the same time, it also, like, it's almost a 20-year-old game at this point. Like, yeah.
As original Xbox.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'd maybe be down to see a remake of it, like, you know, with today's technology and stuff. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, it's all right. It's there. The soundtrack, like, my wife loves it. She actually knew of the game's soundtrack before she even knew of the game. She just, I'm dead. Like, well, because she likes that kind of music, and I think I don't know if she thought it was just like a weird compilation album that she'd found or something. But yeah, like she was playing that one night, and that's actually what got me started on playing the remaster, because I was like, you know, this is a game, right? Like, we can just play this. And she's like, what? And then, like, she watched me play it, and she's like, yeah, fuck that. This seems infuriating.
Oh man, well, speaking of music, that is a good segue into the news of the week. Rock Band DLC for the week. Let me know if you sense a theme with these songs. The Calling, Wherever You Will Go, Rusted Root, Send Me On My Way, and Dido, Thank You.
Well,
I'm trying to find the theme.
It is a sense of thanking people, because it is the end of Rock Band DLC. Final week, Rock Band DLC is dead once again. They're moving on to Fortnite for that Fortnite festival bullshit. I'm not getting into it. I'm not starting over with music. I have 3,000 songs in Rock Band. I'm not starting fresh.
Do you have it all?
I'm missing 3 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you can't get them?
Nope, can't get them.
Okay.
Don't sell them anymore.
Oh,
I will never have the Naked Brothers Band songs in Rock Band.
Woe is you.
I'm so sorry.
Those two and World Turning by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I thought is kind of boring, so I don't really miss that one anyway.
Well, you have Thank You by Dido, which may have some instruments in it.
It does. There's like a note in it that you hit. And yeah. Speaking of things ending, Nintendo is ending online support for the 3DS and Wii U on April 8th. Mm-hmm. Yay.
Can we go back to the Rock Band music thing real quick?
Yeah.
So with the Fortnite festival, what is this supposed to be? Is it just going to be like the same thing, except you now just have to do it in Fortnite?
Fortnite Festival is basically like Rock Band Blitz in Fortnite. They have 40, 50 songs, something like that, with a free rotation that you can play, or you can drop like 500 V-Bucks to buy a song, which is ridiculously priced. I'm not starting over. It's like $5 a song.
Okay. All right. So it's like that when they tried to relaunch Guitar Hero. Okay.
It's just I'm not happy. I'm not starting over. They're making new guitars for Fortnite Festival. People have been begging for new guitars for Rock Band 4 for years. Now they're making guitars for Fortnite Festival. They might work in Rock Band. That'd be great if they do, because if they do, I'll buy them, but I'm not getting into Fortnite. I'm not spending like 60, 70 gig to play 40 songs in a rhythm game. Yeah.
That sucks.
Something that doesn't suck is a game called Palworld. It released to insane demand, selling over 5 million copies in its first weekend. It's already over 7 million copies to date, and it hit over 1.85 million concurrent players on Steam.
Oh, no. It's now
Did it hit higher? It hit 2?
Yeah, I think it reached over 2.
Good Lord. This is based on Monday, so... Wow, this game is just blowing up.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not sure how or why it is, because I've watched people play it, and I'm just like, it takes all the worst aspects of like phone games and puts them right into this game. And I'm like, you have to wait real time for shit to happen, because like if something gets hurt, instead of just taking it, to a healer and poof, it's healed. No, you have to wait 10, 15, 20 minutes for it to heal, depending on how hurt it is. You have to collect resources, and that takes time. Then you have to put stuff together, and that takes time. Or you can have some of your Palmon, I guess is what they're called, do it, and that also obviously takes a bunch of time, more time. It's like everything behind this game seems like it's just behind a fucking time gate, and it's just like that. That's so boring to me. Like, if they just got rid of that, the game would be so much better in my mind.
Well, they have, like, when you first start up the game, there are so many different difficulty sliders that you can mess with. I didn't really pay attention to them because I just wanted to, like, get into it and see what the fuss was about. But I think I'm going to go back and dick with the different settings, because there's a lot in this game I'm just not really into. Like, there's a lot of crafting and there's a lot of survival elements. And I don't care about either of them. Everyone's saying, oh, it's Pokemon with guns. It's Pokemon with guns. No, it's a fucking crafting and survival game. And if you're not into survival games, you're not going to like Palmon or Palworld.
And it takes a while for you to unlock the ability to give any of your Pokemon guns. I think it requires like level 7 or 8 before you can do that. And leveling is really slow in that game.
I don't know. I do want to put more time into it just because of how it's blowing up. I want to see if I could get over the hump of the crafting and survival stuff and really get into the meat of the game, because it's taken the world by storm. Has anyone else played it or checked it out?
No.
I've watched some people play it.
It's fascinating, but it's not my kind of game anyway.
No.
But I'm more interested in the just like kind of treading that copyright line more than anything else. That story is interesting.
It's not really treading it at all.
It isn't?
There's been that, not really. There's been a big uproar, and everyone's like, oh, they just stole this stuff from Pokemon. And it's like, every example they have is, oh, it's a two-toned wolf of completely different colors. Like, almost every wolf that's existed in a video game throughout all of time, or that's a boar and it looks like a boar, and that Pokemon's a boar and it looks like a boar.
The issue I'm hearing is that a modder took models from Pokemon games and put them into Palworld, and that's where the issues with the Nintendo are coming from.
That got
the actual game itself. There's apparently no real issues, but who knows?
As of a day or two ago, something like that, Nintendo is looking into the game, but realistically, nothing's going to happen because it's not stealing anything. But Nintendo did DMCA the person who made that mod, and it was taken down immediately.
Yeah, that had to happen.
Yeah. That was funny.
What, you don't want to have Pikachu slaves in your salt mines?
No, not really.
Anyway, Sony's CEO has come out and said that PlayStation's future will be on PC, mobile, and cloud. So it looks like they might be going all in on other platforms that, like PC. I don't know. I really don't see cloud taking off. If Xbox can't get cloud going with xCloud, I don't know. But if more PlayStation games hit PC, that's good.
I think the thing is that like I think it'll just be like 1 or 2 console generations away. Like it's just we have to have like everyone has to have like the broadband connection to be able to handle all that kind of stuff, and it's just once it gets there, I think it won't be as much of an issue.
Yeah. Speaking of Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition is hitting PC March 21st.
Wait, what do you mean speaking of? None of us spoke that.
Sony said more games are going to be on PC.
Well, yeah.
Sony game is going to be on PC.
Would you like some yoga classes? Because that was a little bit of a stretch there.
What?
Anyways, moving the fuck on.
Oh my lord. There are rumors that Hi-Fi Rush has been rated for a Switch release.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought, that was popping over there. And wasn't there one other Microsoft game that got rated for a different console?
There's nothing that was rated, but there have been rumblings that Microsoft is considering porting Sea of Thieves to the PS5.
That's right.
Yep.
Timber saying it has been debunked, so
so much
I'm just going off news from the past month. I'm not saying anything's accurate. If you're listening to us for accurate news, I've got, there's some problems you can work out. But long rumored Halo Battle Royale game has apparently been scrapped completely.
Oh no.
Oh, the pain, the suffering.
PS5 outsold the Xbox 3-1 in 2023.
That does not shock me at all.
That's getting sad for Xbox. But we'll talk about more really, really sad Xbox news later on. Insomniac was hacked, revealing lots of personal details on employees and Sony exclusivity deals like X-Men and Wolverine. That happened later in December, I believe.
Cool.
I know the big deal was that there will be no X-Men games on any other platform, or at least on Xbox, until like 2028, something like that.
I believe that's what they had said, yeah.
Just these exclusivity deals are getting stupid. I'm so tired of them.
They've always been stupid.
Yeah.
Exclusivity sucks.
Yeah.
Business.
They're great. They're great for the big business. They're bad for literally everyone else.
Oh, Thimber says 2038. Whoops.
Jesus Christ.
Even better. Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack got an update with Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Age.
That's cool. I missed that.
That's cool as fuck. 2 awesome RPGs for Game Boy Advance. If you've never played them, play them. PlayStation Plus lineup for the month of January was A Plague Tale Requiem, Evil West, and Nobody Saves the World.
Nice. Those are some
Cool.
good games.
Yeah, and then their game catalog update The extra lineup had a bunch of good games. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Resident Evil 2, Hard Space Shipbreaker, Lego City Undercover. Jacob, I know you love that one. Just Cause 3, Session, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, Surviving the Aftermath, and Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song.
Not bad.
Cool. So, pretty solid lineup over there.
Man, I should play Just Cause 3 again.
Do it.
That game's great.
Have you played 4?
Yeah, it was okay. It was good, but the progression was weird. 3 is better, I think.
I thought 3 was all over the damn place, but I also didn't pick it up until like it was the complete edition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I really wish the game would have introduced like the flying like enemy spaceship or whatever the fuck that thing was until like after you had completed a bunch of shit, because that like absolutely. I just walked into it like with everything just like trying to kill me, and it was not a good time.
Yeah, they always assume that everyone's finished what there is before they put new stuff out. So if you're starting it for the first time, it's like playing a car game too. You start a car game with all the DLC, and it's like, oh, I have 30 cars. Kind of kills the progression, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I think the Forza Horizon games in particularly are guilty of that. Where you start the game and
cars.
you just get your loyalty rewards from the previous game, and you have like 73 cars in your garage already, and 40 million credits and 700 wheel spins. PlayStation Classics, the Classics lineup was Secret of Mana PS4 version, which is meh. Legend of Mana PS4 version, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection for PS4, and then 2 PS1 games with Rallycross, interesting, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, dang.
Huh.
That's actually pretty damn cool. I wish that they would port that over to Xbox or Switch. Fuck it. I'd take it there too.
Maybe one day. Let's talk Game Pass. A lot of games joined Game Pass this month. Let's see. Let's go down the list. We got Close to the Sun, Hell Lets Loose, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Figment, We Happy Few rejoined, Super Mega Baseball 4 joined EA Play, Resident Evil 2, Those Who Remain, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, F123 hit EA Play, Palworld was a day one launch, and then just today, Go Mecha Ball was a day one launch.
I'm excited about that one.
Cool.
And the month isn't over because January 30th, Brotato is a day one launch.
Great name.
That is a great name. Then February 2nd, Persona 3 Reload is a day one launch. And February 6th, Anuchard. I don't know what that is.
Me either.
Yeah, and then games had to leave Game Pass with Garden Story, MotoGP 22, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and then later this month, Hitman World of Assassination. Those are all gone from Game Pass.
Oh, I never did play that. I should have given it some time. Yeah.
I think it goes on sale fairly often.
Yeah, it does. Definitely does.
Focus Entertainment is changing their name to Pull Up Entertainment. I don't know why, but okay.
Okay.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Congratulate. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
Alan Wake is joining Dead by Daylight on January 30th.
It's so weird.
Dead by Daylight crossovers are insane.
It's probably not the voice from the guy, right? He passed away, right? Probably not. Don't remember his name.
What?
The voice actor for Alan Wake.
The guy he played Max Payne, but didn't he also?
Yes.
Didn't he? Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought he also.
Oh wait, I'm an idiot. It's that guy. Whoops. Whoops. Yes, the voice of Max Payne is the one who passed away, not the voice of Alan Wake. Continue.
Don't scare me like that,
Whoops. Yeah. Bad. Heart attack.
Smite 2 was announced with an alpha playtest coming in the spring. It's going to release on PC, Steam Deck, Series X and S, and PS5 with full crossplay. So if you like Smite, there you go. Cool for those fans. Stalker 2 was delayed out of early 2024 to a now supposedly firm release date of September 5th. In about 4 months, it'll get delayed to early 2025.
Don't jinx that, please. Please don't say that. That'll make me cry.
And now the shit news. There have been a lot of shutdowns, a lot of closures, a lot of layoffs, and we're going to go through some of them. And Bri, I think you have a full list, so you could cover what I miss.
But, it's a lot.
The same day that Atari acquired a 7.5% stake in Tiny Build for $2 million, they shut down Versus Evil completely. Stray Souls developer Jukai Studio shut down as well. Versus Evil was their publisher. Modus shut down Main 6. Embracer had more layoffs at 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks. Bosses Studios laid off a third of its staff, totaling 19 people. The remaining 40 are working on Lost Skies. Twitch laid off over 500 employees. Discord laid off 170. Unity laid off over 1,800 people. Lost Boy Interactive, owned by Gearbox, laid off, quote, dozens of their 400-plus company in, quote, massive layoffs. Riot Games eliminated 530 jobs globally. Piranha Bytes is in deep shit. Rycon Games, developers of Ruiner, cut about 80% of its staff, totaling 60 to 70 people. Black Forest Games, developers of Destroy All Human Remakes, has cut half of its staff at about 50 people. People Can Fly laid off 30 people. Sledgehammer Games has been reduced staff by 30%. Xbox is shuttering departments dedicated to bringing games to retail. And just today, Microsoft laid off 1,900 employees. And Mikey Barra of Blizzard bounced as well. Holy fuck.
Apparently, there's a whole bunch of people in Activision Blizzard that don't even know if they're going to be impacted by this, but apparently there are a lot, says Jason Schreier. But they're contacting him to try and figure out all this stuff instead of, Microsoft letting them know, and that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. So, Bri, what did I miss?
Oh, I mean, there's a bunch of little ones in a list that I had that some of them you might have already grabbed. Some of them, I think there was one for Behavior Interactive. I don't know if you mentioned that one. Thunderful Games let some people go as well. It's just so many to even keep up with. It's ridiculous.
I think they said we're 25 days in and over 6,000 people have lost their jobs in the video game
something
industry.
Like that.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Under a month.
The number was 4,000 until this morning, and then it just shot up a lot. It's a lot.
It's brutal.
It is
depressing. Super brutal.
So yeah, that's all the wonderful news I had. Bri, any news on your end?
No, that was the majority of what took up my stuff. Other than Developer Direct, I took a look at that. I don't know if we want to talk about that at all.
Sure. What was that? What went down at Developer Direct?
Well, they just showcased a bunch of cool stuff. I'd have to pull up the list here, but I think the big one that I really focused on was the Indiana Jones game, and I have a friend whose response to the entire thing was, "Do we really need an Indiana Jones game?" and I didn't have a good answer for that. I was kind of curious if anybody else is excited about that game.
I was having a hard time telling exactly what I was looking at. It looks like it goes back and forth between third person and first person, but it was a little strange. I mean, I love Indiana Jones and I love the music, and so it might be fun, but it is kind of I'm surprised that there have been a few games from Indiana Jones, but it was, dozens of years ago. So I'm surprised we haven't seen anything, like that since, but I'm interested, but I'm still a little confused, I think.
Okay. That's fair.
I think it's a head scratcher of an IP to use. It's not like Indiana Jones movies have set the world on fire in recent years.
True, but RoboCop surprised a lot of people, so it can happen.
Yeah, which, speaking of, they just got a new game plus mode, which is something fans were really clamoring for, and they got their wish. So that's coming out, and that's exciting. See, other stuff at the Developer Direct was Ara History Untold. They showed some of Avowed. I think that's the Obsidian project.
Oh, I am so excited for Avowed.
Visions of Mana, which is coming out summer of this year.
I love that they opened that presentation like the vast history of Mana. They showed all the titles that are not available on Xbox.
I know, right?
Like, throw us a bone. Throw us the collection of Mana.
Well,
Please?
Maybe if it does good, we'll get a collection. That would be great. Until then, I just have to live with it on my Switch. They showed us Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. That was the other one that they showed.
So excited for that.
And that's coming out on May 21st.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Got an actual date for that one.
That's going to be a nice belated birthday gift for me.
It's good to finally see some footage of that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people were kind of freaking out because it's a $50 game instead of a full price game, but not everything needs to be $70 and a 40-hour.
Most things don't.
Why would people complain? I don't understand that. Also, that is a sort of a surprising price point for that game. It's going to be pretty, it's triple A. I don't know. It's surprising, but why would someone complain? I guess they assume it's not going to be a real game if it's $20 less.
I guess.
They trimmed Alan Wake by $10 and just didn't put it out on disc. So I wonder if they're digital only with this as well.
Which game are we talking about?
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade.
Okay, I didn't know. I had to hop back out again. Only. I didn't know if we were still talking about Indiana Jones.
Nope.
Disappointing.
Yes, you are. I agree.
You got something to say about indie? You got an indie hot take?
Well, I mean, I figure that they hadn't made any Indiana Jones games for a while because they were trying to figure out whether they were going to make more movies in the series. And, they have to figure out which MacGuffin that they're going to use. But, I know that they were toying at one point with the idea of somebody else replacing Harrison Ford and keeping it going. So, they probably had to figure that out. Well, they're not going to do it, though. That's the thing. Oh. They've already said that. Which, from what I understand about Dial of Destiny, that's probably not the worst thing to happen. So, but I don't know. To be honest, I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think of the voice choice of Troy Baker?
Is that who that was?
Yeah. I'm okay.
I thought it was pretty great.
I thought it was I thought it was fine. They've had different voice actors before. I'm fine with it. As long as I get to punch Nazis, that's all that matters.
But it sounded pretty it sounded pretty younger indie to me, so I'm okay. I don't, he's in everything, so I can't hear him as characters anymore. I just hear him. But in this case, I it seemed fine to me. So
Troy Baker is what Nolan North used to be.
Yeah, there was a bit of a crossover there where it was the two of them. Now it seems like it's all Troy all the time.
I love that they were both in Saints Row 4. You could either pick the lead character, which was Troy Baker, or you could pick Nolan North, who played Nolan North.
Pretty good.
It was beautiful. Speaking of Nolan North, I got a pretty dope-ass collectible at MAGFest. During the charity auction, I paid $69 for a signed Funko Pop of Nathan Drake, signed by Nolan North.
That's sick.
Yeah, compared to some of the other stuff that went at the auction, that was cheap as shit.
Yeah,
a signed copy of Destiny 2 went for over $200.
What? Wait, who signed it?
Nolan North.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you know he's in that game?
Jacob,
whatever.
Pay attention,
you win,
please.
Joe. You win, Joe. That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Good
so I was happy with that. It was a good pickup. Big Adam had a custom Funko Pop made too.
Of who? Of himself?
Of him.
This is incredible.
They had Dak and Big Adam, the two guys who host the charity auction. They made custom Funkos of each of them, and they auctioned them off. I believe they sold combined for like $800.
That's incredible. That's a great idea.
For fucking charity. All the money went to Child's Play.
That's the kind of stuff that gets them. That's good. That's
They set a record this year with one item.
Which one?
Which was their big sweet giveaway where you would get 2 atrium rooms, 8 badges with max swag, like the big Adam Chase VIP spectacular. You got the room from like Wednesday to Monday so that you don't miss out on anything. It sold for $10,000.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Party room.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's
about
about
a lot
how
of
much,
people involved in that shit to pay that off.
I mean, that's about how much a room costs at the Gaylord anyway. So whatever, they're saving money.
Oh shit! All right, what other news? What else do we have?
I don't know if I have any pinball news. I got nothing.
Did we talk about Riot Games laying off 500 people?
We talked about everyone laying off everyone.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take phone calls during the show.
Well, it was my mom, and my mommy is important.
Mom, did you know everyone laid off everyone? True story.
Did she have any news?
She was asking me if I'd like a bag of almonds and a bag of pretzels and some shortbread cookies when we drop the car off tomorrow.
Because snacks are important.
Well, yeah. I mean, she has to make sure her baby's fed.
You said all of the above.
Yes.
This
Well,
isn't,
of course.
This isn't exactly news, but it's probably something that will become available. But just one more MAGFest anecdote. This awesome band called Zaku played, and the main instrument is an iwi, electric wind instrument. Looks like you guys have seen it. It looks like a clarinet, but it's electronic and makes fun noises. And at the end of the show, they basically like burned it all down by saying, "Hey, we're Zaku. We don't have anything for sale. All our music's online for free. Also, if you want my business card is a circuit board, and for about $40 in parts, you can build your own iwi. I'll be out front giving them away for free." So he basically went out for the front of the show giving away these the most amazing circuit boards business cards I've ever seen. They're these little brain boards, and then you can apparently buy some parts and build your own little iwi. And so I think he's going to make them available when they're ready. If you want to build a little fun wind instrument for your music making needs.
That's amazing.
Everyone's all hawking shirts and shit, and he's like, "We got nothing. You want a free circuit board? See out front." And I'm like, "It's a great way to sell stuff, except you're not selling anything." But I did love it. I loved it.
You're like, "I did socks last year."
I know, right? Anyway.
Nothing beats slap bracelets from Lonely Rolling Stars.
Yes, that was fun. I believe they have about 1,000 of those sitting somewhere in a box.
Really?
Not 1,000, but they got a bunch. Yeah.
Or how many did they sell? I know I bought 2.
That wasn't my year. That was the year after, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of each color. One blue, one yellow.
Love it.
A consumer whore. Gotta love it. Yeah. Any other news?
Until Dawn is getting a movie adaptation.
Really?
Interesting.
Huh. Interesting. What if they'll get some of the same actors? Some of those actors have been in lots of stuff since Until Dawn.
Come on, Jacob. What else? Give us news.
I'm trying to scroll. I'm scrolling through the SML podcast Facebook page, and unfortunately, I posted way too many memes in between the news articles. So
proud of you.
In fact, I'm starting to wonder if I do ever post news articles here.
Probably not.
Horror Acolyte says that Martha is Dead is getting a movie adaptation. And Root Beer says Nintendo last year gave everyone a 10% raise despite projections they would not meet financial goals, and said it's because they were securing the company's future. It's cool as shit. That's how to handle your employees.
Yeah. Well, deeper pockets, but yes, I agree.
Oh, man. All right. Should we get to reviews? We got a bunch of games to talk about. It's been a month. We got ourselves good games to discuss. Should we get into these?
Sure. I have one piece of news beforehand, though.
Okay. Well, let's hear it.
It's nothing that any of you are going to care about, but I care about it quite deeply. I have a new PC, everyone.
Yay!
Cool.
It is amazing. So once I get home, I will be able to do PC reviews again that aren't just smut for once.
Yay!
They'll still be smut, but they don't have to.
Mostly, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Did you buy it? Did you buy it built, or was it? What'd you do?
I got it built already. I don't I don't build them myself. I don't trust my eyesight well enough to not snap anything that cost a few $100 a piece.
Yeah.
It cost me a little over $1,700, and it hurt my feelings quite significantly. And it'll probably be the end of next year before I finally make all that money back into my account, if I'm really lucky. But it's a really good computer, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Now you're not stuck on Windows 7 anymore.
Yeah, no. Now I'm on Windows 11, which apparently is the buggiest fucking thing on the planet. So that's
works fine
something.
It will be till the next OS.
And my computer weighs about 40 pounds. So
yeah, they're heavy. PCs are fucking heavy.
I really thought that was when I got the package information. I was like, that has to be a typo. There's no way it's 40 pounds. I think mine weighs like, I don't know, 10-ish, maybe, my old one. I was like, no, it can't be. They must have made it lighter and they just put the decimal at the wrong. No, it's fucking That's
it's
insane.
Heavy.
I can't wait to get home
Raider
and play with
Biz, thank you so much for the 21-month resub. We missed him because we weren't live yet, but Javor's Root Beer and Injury also subbed before we went live. So thank you to everybody for dropping those subs in chat. Enjoy the kitty cat emotes and all the other fun, stupid emotes that I have put there. Yeah, what other news?
I don't have anything else.
Bri, anything else on your end?
I'm good.
Aki, anything else on your end?
I got more Gunpla, but that's not really news.
Grant, anything else on your end?
That's just a normal piece of life.
I got another Gunpla. Oh, wait, no, that was Aki's. I don't have anything. I got nothing.
All right, should we dive into reviews then?
Sure.
Do it. Dive in.
Cool. First game to talk about in the year of our Lord 2024 is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, published by Ubisoft, released January 18th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $49.99. Dash into a stylish and thrilling action-adventure platformer set in a mythological Persian world where the boundaries of time and space are yours to manipulate. Play as Sargon and evolve from sword-wielding prodigy to extraordinary legend as you master acrobatic combat and unlock new time powers and unique super abilities. Grant, Aki, the two of you played this. Grant, how about you start off? Tell us what's going on in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Sweet. Yeah, Aki, we'll knock it back and forth here. How about that?
Sure.
Y'all got a lot of Prince of Persia history. Play the very first one. Play Sands of Time.
I played. I think it was what everyone called the worst one out of them all. So
the what it was 2008, like the standalone one.
I think I'm the only one that liked that game. I don't think anyone likes that game.
I loved it too. Like I thought it was great. Like I thought, it was the first one that I really ever got into.
I thought people hated The Warrior Within.
That one I think isn't reviewed very well. Yeah,
I think everyone was kind of like,
thinking of. And I thought it was fine. I didn't mind it, but that's the only one I've played. Is the one that everyone pans as the worst. So not really.
That was the game that made me realize that my CRT TV and it was not going to cut it anymore because it couldn't read shit. I had to buy an actual television. Yeah, this is like, it's the first of its kind in a lot of ways, in that it's very much a Metroidvania, but it's also kind of a return to form. It's fun to see Prince, I think, back in side-scrolling, because that's where he came from. But yeah, this is a Metroidvania. This is absolutely 100% Metroid Dread 2, if you just like slap some different stuff in here. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it. I kind of like that kind of game. I have a friend that doesn't like the Metroidvania term. He calls them gear-gated games, which I think is kind of cute. But yeah, it's a gear-gated game. It's a mix of combat and platforming. That's this game, combat and platforming. You get sort of a steady trickle of upgrades to improve your combat. And you guessed it, revisit old places you might have been to expand the map. It's kind of how these kinds of games work. We've seen a lot of them in the past several years. One of the big features of this game, it's so funny because it's such an easy addition, but they're really like talking a lot about it, is this thing where you can, it's like what's it called? Aki Memories or something? Something Memories, the picture taking mechanic?
Yes, it's recording memories. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, at any time, you can slap a button on the D-pad and take a picture of the room you're in, and it puts that picture on the map. So you don't have to remember.
Kind of any time. You actually have a limited amount of them that you can use in the game.
Yes, and you can get more as you play.
Yeah, there is only a certain amount of them in the entire game, though. But
yeah, I have been paying.
Chances are you don't need that many of them, because not only can you put those which show on the map, but you can also set like 100 different points on the map, and you have like a selection of 7 or 8 different things you can make those points look like, so you have some idea of what's there.
Yeah.
So you probably won't need them. I think I used like 8, and that's because there was a Ubisoft challenge to use 7. So
there you go.
And all but one of those was at the very end of the game, and I was just wasting them. And the one was when it taught me how to do it and was a mandatory tutorial one. So yeah, you don't really need them if you don't want to. You can use the other system just fine.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a treasure chest or if it's an enemy, you can put those kinds of icons down. But if you do want to take a picture, just as a reminder, at least what the environment looks like which environment you're going back to, it's kind of cool.
It's really handy. I like that.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything about the story, but to be honest, there ain't a lot of it. I will say there are some twists and things, but you play as this character called Sargon. He's not the prince. He's a member of this group called the Immortals. Which is really funny. You say you start as a prodigy. He's already basically an immortal, but yes, you, the player, a prodigy. He's sort of a superhero of Persia, and things go down, and so you are sent to this cursed Mount Koth to fix the stuff that goes bad. Again, it's a Metroid game. It's not a skill tree situation here. It's basically about acquiring and upgrading powers and items. And so there's really 3 types. There's the kind that upgrade your character. There's the kind that upgrade your weaponry. And then you can get these amulets that can be worn in slots, a predetermined number of slots. And you get more slots as you play through the game. So I found myself, I don't know about you, Aki, but I had kind of a standard loadout, of amulets. Yep. And then when you get to a boss or you get to a thing you need to do, you kind of go and change it up a little bit.
I didn't even bother doing that. I selected the ones that I liked, and I just stuck with them the entire time.
Yeah,
I just didn't care.
There was one
the
boss.
Isn't hard.
It isn't. There's a lot of a couple bosses like air bosses and stuff. So I would equip like the do more damage in the air, amulet stuff like that. But for the most part, you just kind of pick the ones you like and go.
I just equipped the one that said do more damage.
Yes.
Outright, just period, not in air or anything, just do more damage, because then it doesn't matter if I'm in the air or not. I'm very inherently lazy.
Well, you have options. You do. This game is freaking huge. I don't know if I expected it to be quite as big as it was. It's like the map. You zoom all the way out, you don't even really see a quarter of the map. It's pretty big. And it does get, I don't know, I had some trouble with some of the bosses. Like I found some of them to be pretty rough. A lot of it is, I almost feel like the bosses are more puzzles than anything else. It's about figuring out it's standard boss fare. It's figuring out patterns, and the first go is always a trial run. But I thought the bosses are pretty great in this game. For the most part, they get pretty ridiculous. Okay, it sounds like you breeze through a lot of this. I'm not the best gamer.
She did what we call using the assists, right, Aki?
yeah, I used the shit out of the assists. The assists were great, and I also, before bosses, I would go to every area I was able to get into and collect every item I was able to get in order to upgrade things. So I was always probably a little overpowered for the bosses in general.
But it's fun. I feel like this is kind of a kickback game. Like I don't want to be stressed out by this game. And it's a long one. It's a long game. It's bigger than I think people thought it would be.
The devs said it was a 20 to 25 hour game, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I put like 50-ish hours into this.
Yeah,
what the hell you're talking about?
If you're going to collect everything and do all the side quests, you're going to spend some time here. But yeah, and by the time you're really getting some of the cooler upgrades, you can basically go from door to door without barely touching the ground. It's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. There is fast travel, so you can zip around a bit quicker. So trees are save points. Trees will refill your power, save, and refill and regenerate enemies. If that sounds familiar to anyone, one tiny little soul's type thing they do, but you're never traveling back to where you died or anything like that. But there is sort of a risk reward of deciding whether or not to save because everything's going to come back. I mean, combat is fun. It's zippy. It's not overly complex. Not too many buttons. The platforming's fun. The puzzles are fun. I have not 100% of this game. I'm in this moment now where I'm just trying to clear out. I'm clearing out old places with my new abilities, so I can just kind of get better at fighting and at all the platforming. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm running 120 hertz on my Series X. It runs on 60 on everything. It's butter. I'll say also that the game is fully voice acted, but I actually turned the voice acting off entirely. I don't know if anyone would normally do that, but I just feel like I tend to zip through dialogue pretty quickly. I read fast, and I found that everyone just sounded like and use it, and here was what about, because I was just skipping lines. I just sort of turned that off, and so I feel a little bad, but at the same time, like I didn't feel like I was losing too much by doing that.
I had it in Persian the entire time.
Did you do it in Persian? That's so. I'm gonna go switch it to Persian. What a great idea!
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime I have a game that's set in a specific country, if that is an option for the language they're speaking, if there's a voice acting for that, that's immediately what I flip it to, just because it's done that way for me.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna go
a cool
do that.
idea.
That's awesome.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Did you read all the stuff? Like, do you read all the tablets?
I've 100% of the game. I've read everything.
But do you actually did you
I read it all. Yeah.
Okay.
Every last piece.
I just found that a lot of what you're reading doesn't really further the story. It's more sort of like a Wikipedia dump of Persian history, which
it is basically.
I mean, it didn't, which I thought was interesting in a way, but like a lot of times you're not remembering all the names of who they're talking about. And I got to the point where the long sort of stories or letters, I just didn't, I'm less attached to, I think. Like I just came off Alan Wake 2, where every single piece of anything you're scouring because it fills in the holes of the universe, right? And so I just didn't, which I guess it kind of does here too, but I don't know.
I'm sad I still haven't played Alan Wake 2. I want to play that so bad.
Get there at some point. You mentioned the accessibility. I love the difficulty system.
Fucking yeah!
It's got a lot of sliders for, like, if you just want to do more damage, you can do that. If you want to reduce damage on you can do that too. So you can kind of, I can't remember I don't think I came up with a preset. I just sort of made my own.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has difficulties, and then it has a custom that you can choose. And when you go into custom, you can make it to where how much health enemies have, how much damage you take, how much damage you do. There's stuff like how big are the subtitles and things like that as well. So it has a pretty good one. I didn't mess with enemy health, but I tossed everything else to be in my favor just because I was like, I want to get this done as fast as possible, and it still took forever.
You know what else is pretty good? Trash Rando just dropped the sub for the 13th month. Trash Rando, thank you so much for hanging out and being here. Thank you for welcoming us back as well. It is good to be back. It has been a long time off. And now Simon is just so used to being on my lap whenever he wants that I have to hold him in my arms right now during the show because he's a spoiled little asshole.
Right. Don't listen to him.
The major thing to know about the game is the bosses can be difficult. The combat can be difficult if you want to make it. But the more powers you unlock, the more fun the combat is, regardless of how difficult it is. Because like one of the first things you can unlock is an air dash, which allows you to jump over enemies and dash away from them and stuff. And much later on, there's an ability to grab enemies and either pull them to you or pull you to them so you can get real quick hits in and then jump away and dash off. It is so fun.
It is.
There is lots of the standard platforming isn't too bad. The later you get into the game and if you start going after some of the optional stuff in order to like upgrade your equipment more, the platforming, it gets really fucking brutal. And anytime you fail in one of those, you take a lot of fucking damage, and it doesn't matter what difficulty or how low the damage you're taking, it takes off a ton of it and tosses you back at the beginning. And it's like, try again, stupid. And almost every time I died, where I ran completely out of health, even using all my health potions, it was every last time. It was because of platforming challenges I just couldn't succeed at for so long.
Yeah, I did find there was an amulet that reduces environmental damage. It helps a little, but it's still tough.
You can upgrade the amulets as well. So.
Yep, and those sections are just fun. Like it's comedy because they clearly built this environment for you, but they weren't supposed to. But boy, they put everything where they wanted, and it's a blast. But I love the platform in this game.
Yeah, in this game, the castle was actually retrofitted by an engineer by the king's order, and it is just a gigantic fucking death trap everywhere you go. Like, it is impossible for someone who doesn't have the abilities that you get to get through any of these areas. And it's just like, oh yeah, and like occasionally you'll find letters, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this many engineers died. I can't keep doing this. This is so messed up. Stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I can see that.
I just wonder, like, what the architect was thinking when he came up with a place like this.
She's batshit insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a disappearing platform right here. And then one right
or
next
crumbling
to it.
one. Or one that's in another universe.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll put the other universe one over here.
Oh, they'll figure it out.
This will fool them. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did run into two gigantic bugs. I was in one of the puzzle rooms where you sort of duplicate yourself, and then I ended up getting hung up on one of them, and it was respawning me over and over again, and repeated the same sound every frame, and it was incredible. It sounded kind of like. So I went back to the title screen and I rebooted and loaded the last save. So I did have to shut the game down and reboot it, and then I had the same problem. I fast traveled pretty quickly after killing someone, and it had a similar issue. But one of them I lost about 20 minutes of progress, I think. But it was still. But I did that whole section again in about 5-10 minutes. So no big deal. But they'll probably iron that stuff out. But yeah, my only complaint is I would love it in the training area. I wish you could like put different enemies in there because they're all so different. It'd be nice to train on different people. But that and the story, I think, are the only issues I really had. Other than that, it's just like, I love it. It's fantastic.
I came across two bugs, one of which has already been fixed. It was a bug with one of the training simulations that you can choose to do them, or you can choose to say fuck it, but they give you money. So I chose to do it.
They pay you to train, and it's worth it.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And one of them, you literally couldn't do the thing it was telling you to do because the game just wouldn't let you do it. And they've already patched that, so that got fixed.
Okay, yeah. I think I had the same problem.
The recovery in the air. It was broken at first. They patched that, and then another one was what was it? I don't remember the other one. It was such a little minor thing that got fixed by me just reloading. And I've had a couple crashes, but I also play the game for 14 hours straight without stopping sometimes. So I kind of expect things to crash at that point. Yeah.
Well, the game is $49.99. What do the two of you think of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown?
I love it, top to bottom. Favorite game of the year? Is it the only one I've played? No, almost. I love it. It's not I think the story is a little wimpy, but this is a game I come to play, not necessarily to learn or to read. So I'm okay with it.
There's not really a story to this game. The story is go find the prince and stop the bad guys. That's it. That is the entirety of the story. There's nothing really in between.
Fix your cool hair, and then go fight and jump.
Yeah. For a story, I would. The story is so minimal that I don't want to say buy this at full price, even though I really do like the game. I like almost everything about it, but the story is so lax, and it has absolutely nothing to do with anything Prince of Persia at all in any way. There is a prince and who are in Persia, and that's the only thing that it has in common with literally the entire rest of the franchise. So I'm not quite sure who this is going to end up appealing to, because everyone, I think,
Metroidvania
new
fans.
Prince of Persia game. Yeah, but everyone who's like, oh, it's Prince of Persia. They're going to want Prince of Persia. And that's not what this is.
I went in and I just enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't get upset that, there's no lore connecting it to the original trilogy. Like, I don't think every game has to be connected that way. I just enjoyed it for what it was.
Fucking yeah!
I'm not sure how common that is, though, Joe. To be honest.
Bri, you just got an anonymous gifter hooking you up with a sub.
Kinky.
Sweet. Thank you, anonymous gifter.
Thank you, gifter. Bri, enjoy the emotes.
I would say this is a buy it at a small sale. Personally, I would go buy it at $40 or something. But I do really like the game. I thought it was really fun. And I surprisingly enjoyed it a lot.
Cool. Grant, your official verdict?
Buy it from me.
Cool. Shout out to Ubisoft for hooking us up with this one. Really, really cool game. I'm glad I pre-ordered it because it is fun as hell. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Grant, thank you so much for joining us, hanging out with us. What's up next in Grant's land?
Oh, geez. Back to work. I am mixing the show from this past weekend, and they're letting me do that, mix my own show. So the video on demand, if you want to see the 10-foot tall mother brain that I mentioned earlier, the video will be available to view soon. So I'm tidying that up, and I've got some other, I got a lot of list of guitar to record for people, and I have several. We played a brand new song at MAGFest, which was fun. So we may track a studio version of that soon. And so, yeah, just hopping from thing to thing. So, and looking forward to playing some more games.
Cool. Any shows coming up?
Yes. And I'm playing VGM Con, which is in the Midwest. Fantastic new convention that focuses on musicians that play these events. I feel like it feels kind of like a giant MAGFest green room. To me, it's less of a fan con really, and more just music focused, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm playing with Super Strikers at that show.
How many bands do you have?
I think I just really have 3 right now. I got Viking Guitar, this one, and Super Strikers and Metroid Metal, I think. I don't know. I'll make some more this year. Whatever. I'll figure it out.
Was it Hairy Chest and Man Titties?
Was that what it was? No, it was, was that it? I don't remember what it was called. The
Hairy Chest and Man Titties, I think it was. Something like
Hairy Chest. Is that what it was? Oh, Hairy Gut. It was Hairy Gut and
Hairy Gut.
Yeah. What was Hairy Gut and the Man Titties? Okay. Anyway, yeah. So 4 bands.
Oh man, I am super excited. Between you and Flick and Ailshon and Mustin, y'all convinced me. I'm going to VGM Con this year.
Sweet.
So I got my room booked. I'm already talking with some other people about possibly joining me and splitting the room. So we might have a whole SML party going on there if things work out.
There you go. Do some live, some on the field broadcasting.
That'd be cool if I could figure out how to do that.
Just talking to your phone.
Yeah.
Just do what Purnell does.
I did that. I did that at MAGFest the one year. We just set a phone in the middle of the room and talked. It was the worst sounding episode I think we've ever done.
Yeah, I got chills just hearing you say that.
It's just awful.
Something else.
It was off.
Well, I normally stay for the whole show, but I'm playing catch up on a bunch of stuff, so I am gonna drop off. But
totally understand. Grant, thank you so much for joining us, hanging out with us, keeping us company. Do you have any final words before we let you go?
Harry Gut and the Man Titties World Tour 2024.
Sweet.
Laters.
Peace.
Bye.
Next game to talk about is Go Mecha Ball, developed by Whale Peak Games, published by Super Rare Originals, released January 25th on Xbox Series X and S and PC for $19.99, also available as part of Game Pass. Load up and roll out in this twin-stick shooter with roguelike progression. Blast your way through arcade-style levels using pinball-style physics mixed with an arsenal of devastating weapons. Defeat waves of enemy bots, big boss battles, and upgrade your mech between runs. Jacob, tell us about your time with Go Mecha Ball.
So, Go Mecha Ball is an interesting little twin-stick shooter, and it is a roguelite. I mean, pretty much once you're dead, you're dead, but you can go back and upgrade everything and then just go back and do it again. Which to be honest, I didn't realize that the game was like that at first, because usually that genre annoys the hell out of me, because I hate that whole like death stops you from doing things kind of gameplay. But this one, honestly, like the fights come fast and furious, and there is a shit ton of action and weapons waiting for you in this game. As you're just blowing up like all these like little robots and aliens and all sorts of just crap, like all sorts of like crazy crap. And honestly, it's kind of hard. Like I was having some issues like keeping track of as to like where my guy was going. But it really just takes, you really just have to keep playing at it just to get an idea of what you're going to be doing, because the pinball aspect of it is pretty wild. And so like you'll use ramps and curves to go around the arena to help wipe people out. And so like if you hit like a ramp at the right speed, you can actually like go up in the air, and then you can like be shooting people like as you go down, or you could do like a special attack and just slam right into them and kill them. And it's just, it's a hell of a lot of fun. And it's a game that like you can easily like pick up and like put back down for a bit. And, you know, it's just go right back at it.
I will say it wasn't what I expected going in. I thought this was going to be like level based, but it's more like arena based shootouts. Then you finish a wave, you move on to the next wave, rinse, repeat, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's just, it wasn't what I expected going in. So it kind of threw me a curveball, but it's really fun. It's really fast paced. I picked it up off of Game Pass. Thank you for Game Pass existing. I think the achievements are going to be a problem in this game, because there's a lot of stuff that you've got to like collect everything and defeat it on like the hardest difficulties. And that's, I think
which
that
I will not
some
be
people
doing.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah. I will not be 1K'ing this game,
No.
but you know,
I got 80.
Honestly, like my only real big issue with the game is that I had a hard time switching between weapons. And it's just like, I just found it difficult. And like, I don't know if it was just like I was dropping weapons and like thinking I was picking them up or what, but it's just, I don't know. Like it got way too easy to get stuck with like a shit weapon. And so like, you're like, oh crap, beat some guys up, grab like whatever weapon comes next and hope it's better than the last one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like once you do die, you can go off and upgrade your mech suit again, and then boom, back to the races.
Yeah. Well, the game clocks in at $20. What do you think of it?
It's totally worth it. Like it's a good solid action game, and as I said, like it's a good one that you can play for like 10-15 minutes and then, you know, go back and go off to something else and then pick it up again in a couple of days. Like it honestly, it's got some pretty good staying power for my Xbox.
It's one of those games where it'll have you going like, one more run.
Yeah, definitely.
One more run.
Who needs to go to work tomorrow?
Sleep's overrated. One more run. And if you're on the fence, it's on Game Pass. So
yeah, so definitely check it out there.
Give it a try. Next game, Food Truck Simulator, developed by Drago Entertainment, published by Ultimate Games, released January 16th on Xbox One, Series X and S for $19.99. Your father owned a food truck. Though the vehicle's grown old, it has become a cornerstone of your family's legacy. Now in the blink of an eye, your father's gone. Now the food truck belongs to you. Will you walk in your father's footsteps and live up to his name? Only one way to find out. Bri, how is the food truck business treating you?
Well, there's a lot to unpack. First of all, this is by the same people who made Gas Station Simulator. If you're into simulator games and you have played that, you might expect some of the things that I'll bring up here in a minute. So there's two main ways to play the game. There's a story mode and a sandbox mode. The story mode is really the bulk of the game to me. The sandbox mode doesn't really make a ton of sense until you've gone through a bunch of the story. I might even call that like the first half of the story is really just like a long tutorial. As mentioned, the story is about starting up your food truck after the death of your father using his old truck. You have a garage down this like dead end alley. You're sleeping in your office. But hey, we're doing things for Dad. There's a surprising amount of story, some decent voice acting. You might expect you're going to learn to make all kinds of food. You're going to make burgers, fries. You're going to make fries with mozzarella and ketchup on it. Don't ask why, but that's a thing. You're going to make some pizza. You're going to make some sushi. There's no taco truck. I was disappointed.
To deny it, you're saying.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. There's lots of other good things. All right, so other games of this type, you're going to expect a certain level of detail of things that you're going to want to do. So you've got to maintain your food truck. You got to find a good location to sell. You got to order your food. You got to drive to pick up your order. Then you got to drive to your location. Then you can finally make food to the best of your ability. And then don't forget, you got to clean your equipment after and manage your inventory, and your items do spoil. So there's a lot going on. It's got a level of realism to it, but it's also a simulator where, some things get a little fantastical. And in addition to running your own truck, you can also take jobs for other restaurants as a delivery driver. You can work for the supply store. You can power wash the gas station. Same gas station as the gas station simulator. And this is like a really good thing in case you just want to break or get some extra training time for some low risk cash. Things I was not expecting, and I should have, because gas station simulator was lock picking and arson would be part of the game.
Wait, what?
To get the full experience, a food truck. It involves vicious turf wars where people sneak into your garage to graffiti your truck, and then it escalates to them setting the whole building on fire to really send their message home. This is really a thing that happens in the game.
Okay,
I'm excited now. Thank you.
Actually, no, I know about that kind of shit, and yeah, okay. Now that you say that, that vaguely makes sense.
Right. Okay. So that was part of the game.
No, like parking spots, those are huge, like turf war issues for food trucks, and like every once in a while, like in the summertime on the news, like you'll see like some food truck in New York got vandalized or because they parked in like on this one street one too many times. Like it's
Yeah, so they even represented that. I don't want to give away the entire storyline there, but there's that was a fun little thing I was not expecting at first. There's plenty of collectibles you can buy by driving around the map that enable you to upgrade your truck with better wheels or new paint. The game also came with Halloween skins for your truck. I'm not really sure why. Yes, I absolutely had to have the spookiest food truck in town. Really made me wish I could have like an ice cream truck. And call it like the dipped crip, make dipped cones with like cookie crumbles for call it grave dirt for that graver flavor. Or if I could have like a soup truck and I could make a ghoul pasta visual. I really was just getting creative with this because it was a lot of fun to just goof around, and I'm running around in this like pumpkin and skeletal. There's like this ghoul sitting in my driver's or my passenger seat. Great. I didn't care for the regular skins. I just wanted to be unique out there. Yeah. So, there's a full radio of music to listen to while you're driving or working. Different music styles to choose from. You can always turn that off and find your own music. You just want to like rock out to metal or whatever while you're cooking. Like go for it. You can turn the music down. Good variety of stuff to do. I found it really engaging. Sometimes a sim is really good because it does the same thing over and over, and other times, like this one, the variety felt good for that full experience. And the game's kind of on rails at first, so like you have to progress through the story before you get to the free roam mode, and then you get to choose your vending spots and your times of day that you get to cook your food. You have a little more control over closing and opening your kitchen. You can finally prep food in advance. That was, I think, the biggest break in realism for me is like I wanted like a 2-minute period of time during the beginning of the story where I could just like go in and slice a bunch of things and have a bunch of like buns ready to go and just line things up, and that just like wasn't something you could do. You get a little bit more freedom as you get further into the story. And then the end of the story, like after you get through the main tutorial section of story, you run around and you do all these things, building your empire, getting enough money because you're going to enter the big food truck competition, and that's really the big end of the story. Like, did you do your dad proud? Yes. Some negatives to the game, besides, previously mentioned no taco truck. Long load screens. I had some lag issues pop up occasionally. Sometimes the buttons for the tool wheel didn't always act as responsively as I wanted, which was frustrating when you're in a time crunch and you're just like, I just want my knife. No, really, I said I want my knife. Can I please? No, I don't want the spatula. I want my knife. I just need to cut this damn bun so I can get the burger on it. Thanks. The driving is clunky, but that actually was kind of fun to me. There's really no penalty for driving into everything. And the cars will get caught up on things like that are driving around the city. And it's pretty funny. Sometimes the map was a little clunky. Like I had a really hard time highlighting spots on the map. But even with all those, like, those were just like minor annoyances in the grand scheme of it all. Like, it's just a really quirky, fun game. So,
well, it's a $19.99 game. What do you think, Food Truck Simulator?
Oh, it's a buy it for me for sure.
Very cool. Any other thoughts on it?
Man, the repeating thing. Dennis the Menace. If you played Gas Simulator, you know. Dennis in fact is still a menace.
Are you serious? I fucking hated that little son of a bitch.
It's not quite the same. It's just a running theme.
I hate him. Like,
I know.
And it's just so damn annoying too, because they're like, oh, well, you could catch him if you hold this. And like, no, it never worked. Like, fuck that kid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Lil Guardsman, developed by Hilltop Studios, published by Versus Evil, RIP. Released January 23rd on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $19.99. Imagine you're a 12-year-old suddenly in charge of the guard shed at the castle gate where you decide if elves, goblins, and 100 other characters should be admitted. It's a wonderful combination of deduction, narrative, and puzzle games. Aki, tell us about your time playing Lil Guardsman.
Okay, so in this you play as a young girl named Lil. Her father is the town guard for this medieval city, and he wants to go place a bet, an illegal bet on some goblin sports game thing. I don't know. So you're going to be working a shift because a 12-year-old is totally set up to deal with that. Totally. So you get there, he gives you a very basic rundown of just let people through. I need to go, place this bet. Bye. Because, dad of the year, And so, yes, you spend the day getting people to come up, and you can use tools or call superiors to see if you should let these people in or not. You have a handful of different tools. Each one of them has a little crystal that you put in it to charge it, so they can only be used one time per crystal that they have in them. And yeah, you try to get information out of people. The more information such you're able to get out of people, the higher the rating you have for that individual. And at the end of your shift, all the people, all their stars combined, and you figure out what your rating is for that day, and whatever that rating is, you get a certain amount of money, or you get fired. So that's fun. Near the end of your shift, someone calls though, and they're like, yeah, we need you to come here. And then time rewinds not long after you meet them. So cool, you get to replay the first day all over again and go back to them, and you're like, time rewound, and they're like, oh yeah, the device that did it. Have fun. We need you to test it. It will allow you to rewind time while you're in the guard box, so you can redo your choices, basically, i.e. so you can get a better score, because some of these are hard to get a good score on. So you have a handful of days. You don't have a ton of them, and this sounds a lot kind of like Papers, Please, but it's not quite. When I first saw it, that's immediately what I was thought. I was like, I'm not going to like this very much, but sure, I'll take it. In Papers, Please, you have to go really quickly. You're trying to get people through as quick as you can, because the more people you get through, the more money you make. In this game, though, time isn't really all that important. You'll have these people this day, these people this day, and it'll be the same order in everything. So that doesn't really matter. Instead, you have to figure out how to interact with them, because you can call one of the 3 superiors. They might give you some information on one of these people. You can only do 3 actions to these people. You can interrogate them, call one of the people. Each one you call takes a point. Using one of your items uses a point. For items, there's like an X-ray, a metal detector, a bullwhip. Don't ask why. That's powered by Crystal, because she does, and she doesn't get an answer. There's a truth serum, and something else that I forgot already. And you can use a mixture of all these things to get information out of each one of these people. You can also occasionally confiscate things from the people going through, which you can later sell in order to upgrade your items. So like the metal detector, X-ray, et cetera, you can upgrade them. The upgrade doesn't make them any stronger or anything. Instead, it allows you to add another crystal into it, so you can use it more than once in a single day. You can also buy the power crystals themselves. You set them into the items you want them set in at the beginning of the day, and you don't get enough to set them into all of the items. So far, I'm only getting 3 a day, and there's 5 items. So that kind of screws you up a little bit. So you can buy those. You can also buy cheaper ones, but they only work half the time, so they're not particularly trustworthy. And yeah, you can talk to people. Some of them will try to bribe you to not let other people in. Some of them are smuggling illegal items in, and you can find them and confiscate them and sell them for your own benefit, or you can, ignore that and just let them do what they want. Everyone you let in can potentially change the environment of the city. For instance, on day 1, one of the people I let in was a keynote speaker, someone who was invited to go speak by one of the 3 people up in charge. If you let him in, though, he more or less starts an uprising against the princess of the country by telling mages that non-magic people suck, basically, and it causes a big rift, which later on causes issues. And just like a whole bunch of these happen. Not everyone you interact with is going to create a change like that, but a bunch of them will. And you're not quite sure what's going to change what. And some people that come up, they're just outright fucking lying to you. Every word out of their mouth is just bullshit. And you have to find a way to prove it, not necessarily by just using truth serum. And it's kind of funny because everyone ends up really liking this child because they're like, she does a really good job. We can totally manipulate her instead of her stupid father who half-asses everything. We can't manipulate him, but we can manipulate this 12-year-old who does an amazing job, better than we've ever seen. We can totally manipulate that person because that's, not stupid. So all 3 of these individuals that you can call, each one of them is vying to get more power because, politics. So everyone you get in, some of them will increase or decrease that person's popularity and power and such, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different endings to this game from just the choices you make, and I don't know what all of them are because there's a lot of choices.
So it'll keep you playing. A lot of replayability.
Oh yeah, I think so. There's 2 achievements for every individual level, of which I believe there's only 11. One for getting a perfect score by the end of the day, which is insanely hard, even with the time rewind. Yeah. Thankfully, there are guides out there. If you get stuck and you're like, I just can't figure out this person, there are guides out there that will tell you what items you need, if you need items, what basically to do. There's one for beating each level, which sometimes pops, sometimes you have to replay it 1 or 2 times before it'll pop, because it's kind of finicky. And then there's a handful of achievements that's where it's like, you choose which one of these people does this thing. So you have achievements where you're probably going to end up having to replay at least levels if not the entire game all over again. So yeah, it doesn't take that incredibly long unless you keep restarting trying to get things perfect because you're obsessive compulsive.
Like you?
No comment.
Well, I'll make you comment on one thing then. It's a $20 game. What do you think of it?
I think that's pretty worth it. This is a nice, cute little game. There's voice acting for everything. It's kind of funny, and it's
I see the store page
very
says 100 plus fully voiced characters, which is impressive for a smaller game like this. Really cool.
Yeah. A lot of those voice actors don't have a whole bunch of lines. So don't be like, oh yeah, they're fully voiced act. We're going to get a whole bunch of lines. No, a lot of them are like, they have like 5 sentences maybe. So
hey,
it's not a huge game. Yeah, it's something. It's not a huge game. It's pretty short, but I think it's worth the $20. It's cute and it's nice and chill because you don't have to go through this as fast as you can because those people, they'll wait.
Speaking of chill games, the next one up is Hidden Through Time 2 Myths and Magic, developed and published by Rogueside. Released January 25th on Series X and S, Switch, and PS5 for $12.99. Join Clicky on a new enchanted adventure in Hidden Through Time 2 Myths and Magic. Search for hidden objects scattered around hand-drawn worlds and unlock more as you go with both a single-player campaign and an online mode where you can create your own dream world. The adventure never ends. Bri, tell us about Hidden Through Time 2 Myths and Magic.
Also, Bri, just so you know, I am so extremely jealous. Just so you know.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. So the premise of the game, for those of you who haven't seen the original game, is kind of like Finding Waldo. You have a list of images to find on an interactive image on the screen with lots of things going on, like people dancing and shopping and playing ball. But it's more than just a hidden object search. You'll need to click on removable building pieces, open chests, or even dig spots to find all the things. Other objects are interactive to add a little fun. You can take like bites out of fruit and click on people and watch them jump or dance or shout. And there's lots of objects that just move on their own. So it's like a really interactive scene, just everything with these little repetitive animations, bringing it all to life. In the original game, you were traveling through historic times. This one, you're going through different eras based on myths. So there's 4 eras. You've got 1001 Nights, Greek myths, the Middle Ages with dragons, and the fantasy of the 1980s, which is like witches and werewolves. It's super cute. And all the art looks like it's hand-drawn. It's really cute. Each map has an intro with a little narration and a little story, and there's cool thematic music for each era. You can change the weather or the time of day. This is kind of a new thing. And then that's actually necessary to solve to find all the objects. You might only be able to find a person holding an umbrella when it's raining, for example, or someone's sunbathing during the day. You can use your little bar of objectives to click on to give you a little clue on how to find the object, like, how did this get in my car? And it'll be over the picture of a bone, and then that'll give you an idea of like, oh, well, I'll start looking in cars, trunks, or whatever, and maybe I'll eventually find the bone that I'm looking for. If you get stuck and you want to move on, if you found enough, I thought this was like a nice addition. If you get stuck and you want to move on to the next level, you can do that early on. If you've found a few things, you might have enough to unlock the next level, and then you can come back and find all the missing things later. There are optional objectives related to each of the areas, like there's a gas can for the 80s. In the Greek myth era, you find a trident, and when you find all of the tridents or whatever the special thing is for the area, it unlocks a final map for each era. The online stuff is pretty cool. I'm terrible at the architect mode, but it was really cool seeing other people's creations. Like, people made really cool stuff. So it's
impressive to see how creative others can get with this game.
Absolutely. And if you're just looking for that continued experience and the chill thing, you can pop on and there you can favorite the maps and you can go back and replay them. So, I mean, and not everyone makes a great map, but the really creative, fun stuff. And I did find this one to be a little bit more challenging to find some of the really small things hidden in tiny places, like trying to find a black key on a dark brown crate or a wood counter. There was an object that was hidden on a movable roof. So like you expect to move the roof, but there's like a little hot spot where there's an object on the roof. So some of the stuff, yeah. But there were some improvements, I would say, over the first game. Everything felt like it moved faster in a good way. The screen transitions were better. The movement speed was more adjustable. The zoom seemed to be improved as far as, how far you can go in and out at what speed. The art all seemed to be more crisp and clear. There was less motion blurring when you're moving around. There were some button changes that they did for like the zoom and things that I thought was really good choices. It felt a little more intuitive. So it's a lot more of the same game as the first, but with all these like good quality of life and a little added challenge. I liked the user interface for the eras was like really nice, where you can kind of go and click. So you're not in the first game, you were stuck to like a timeline and you had to go through one era. And when you finish that, you could get to the next level and to the next level. And this one, you can kind of jump around a little more and you can explore the different eras and have fun in the order you want to have fun, which I thought was nice. My only downside, and I seem to be the only one who's had this problem, but I did have a broken achievement for me. And that's just my bad luck, I guess. But other than that, really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, it is a $13 game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that is absolutely worth it. And if you're looking for a good chill experience and a little bit of challenge, finding some stuff, I think this was a really good sequel. Very
cool. All right, next up, Wordsweeper by POWGI, developed and published by Lightwood Games, released December 22nd on Xbox One, Series X and S for $7.99. A crossword puzzle solved using logic and deduction. This new word game draws inspiration from the classic Minesweeper and is exclusive to POWGI. Jacob and Bri, both of you check this one out. Jacob, start us off. What is Wordsweeper by POWGI?
So Wordsweeper is a... not only is it one of like the usual word puzzles that POWGI makes, but it's also kind of like a mix. Like, I don't want to call it like a mixture between like Minesweeper, but I mean, like, that's the first thing that you're going to think of, even though it's kind of like the reverse. So what it is you'll have so many tiles on the board that you're able to put letters in, but then there are black tiles next to them that you can't put anything in, but they tell you what letters are adjacent to them, and you have to figure out, so like, let's say that you have the letters T and O next to like two blank white spaces. So the word is like, you're going to have to figure out what word to spell. Obviously it spells two, but, later on you can get into like other stuff. Like, let's say that you've got an area where the letters say that C-A-R-D and T, could possibly go. So you have to figure out, like, is it spelling card? Is it spelling cart? And so you have to play around with that kind of stuff. And so it ends up being this logic puzzle that's also a crossword, and it's like, I don't know, like, it's one of those, like, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but at the same time, like, if you've played other POWGI games, you get you get into it like pretty quickly. I will say this, like, I find it weird on True Achievements, although everyone's probably just like doing the puzzles that they need to and nothing else. Like, they're saying the average completion is 1 to 2 hours. I've only completed like, I think 28 of the puzzles so far, and like, I've already clocked in like 4 hours. Like, it's real easy to
close to 8 hours into this, to get the completion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like, and the thing is, like, some puzzles, like, I've blown through them in like 1:30, and other ones, like, I've been racking my brain on, and they can go like 8-9 minutes. So it's just like, the puzzles are varying difficulty. But yeah, like, I'm digging it.
The thing that I wish it had was, like, in Sudoku, you can put like your it could be number 1, 3, 5, and 7, and those are the only ones that it could be in that spot. So you kind of have a placeholder in mind. And so I ended up finding that, like, especially when like you didn't have an easy corner to start in, I would have to just like take some little scribble notes of like what this could possibly be and make a couple of guesses at things, and that was what helped me get through some of it faster.
Now, is that because you didn't want to have anything marked wrong, or?
I don't know. It's just how my
curious.
brain like works to figure out, if I was actually trying to really figure it out instead of just like plugging stuff in as a guess. Like because like when you put in a letter and it's like the wrong one, it'll be red, which is great. But if I just wanted to like do some calculations, I would just like scribble some notes on paper. And I just wish that there was a way to like put some placeholders in so that I'm not like putting the whole, I don't know. I'm used to doing these on in like the little magazines that you get with all the word puzzles. So I'm used to having a pencil and being able to like erase stuff and make little scribble notes on the side. And, that's how I figure out logic puzzles. So, yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much like the way I went through it was I was trying to figure out I'd look at a row and it's like, okay, this is 5 letters. Let's see what letters, go throughout. And I try to figure out what I could possibly spell, or at least like what it would most likely end on. So this is where my English degree comes in handy. But yeah, so I would just I would start. That's how I figured stuff out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. Like it's another solid release from Lightwood.
I wasn't sure about it when I first started, and it really grew on me, and I really, really loved it toward the end.
Well, it is $7.99. Another buy it?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. I enjoyed watching you play this one, Bri. Every single stage you played, I'm like, I know that one. I know that one. I know that one. I was getting them way easier than I thought I would, so I gotta fire this one up myself.
At the same time, maybe I should start streaming it, and then you could be like, "Oh my god, he's so stupid."
I say that
figured
anyway.
this puzzle out.
We're all like that every second of your life already.
Yeah, I know.
Next game, Cynthia, Hidden in the Moonshadow, developed and published by Catthia Games. Released July 10th. Released January 10th on Xbox One, Series X and S, and Switch for $13.99. Emotional third-person, story-driven adventure game focused on solving puzzles using stealth mechanics. Use your bow to interact with environmental elements, sneak, climb, or distract guards to move further unnoticed. Solve light puzzles alongside your path to rescue your loved one. Aki, what is Cynthia, Hidden in the Moonshadow?
Okay, in this, you play as Cynthia. You are a hunter who has gone off for, I think, 6 months or a year or something like that to go train with other hunters around the world, and you're just coming back home. Big problem. Mages from the north have unlocked a dark power and have come and invaded your home because your people don't have magic, and therefore you're lesser, and they don't think you deserve to be seen as your own nation, so they're just going to come and take you over because, fuck you guys. And so you find a bow and some training arrows, and you decide, let's get to work. Because first, you don't know what's going on. You're just trying to get back home to your boyfriend and to your family, and you're like, yeah, I got to solve some puzzles because heaven forbid anyone has any stairs to go the places you need to go. So a lot of this game is you shooting an arrow and hitting a switch in order for something to pop up that you can jump onto, or so you can get across things, stuff like that. There are a lot of forced stealth sections when you come across the evil mages of the north, because if they see you, they chase after you, and if they get close enough, they cast magic, and it just immediately turns you to stone. There's no dodging it. You're just fucked. So that's fun. So instead, you can eventually, as you can continue the game, you can make different types of arrows. All of them are basically made to distract the guards, more or less. There's one that if you shoot a guard with it, it'll basically create this bubble around them, and they can't see outside of it, so you can just run right past them. No one cares. There are some that will pull a guard towards it. One of the last ones you make pulls 2 guards towards it instead of 1. I don't really understand why that works, but whatever, it's a video game. And yeah, occasionally you can drop a big old bundle of boxes and stuff that are held up in nets. Occasionally guards will step under those, and you can shoot those with an arrow and smash them, and that's always really fun because they don't get up after that. So that makes running around real easy. But yeah, most of it is just getting areas opened up so you can move around to get from point A to point B. Sometimes there's some puzzles. Most of those puzzles are there's a bunch of squares in the ground that you have to walk over in a specific pattern that you can see right next to it to light up these little squares on it without stepping onto an area that isn't supposed to be lit up. They're all very easy. The answer is literally right next to each one of these. Very simple, very nice, very easy. No problem whatsoever. The game isn't particularly emotional. That may be written there. It's not. It's really not. I don't think this game is going to win any awards, sadly. It is not the smoothest game I've ever played. It's not super janky, but like the characters move kind of blocky almost. It just doesn't quite feel fluid or natural. So it's not an amazing game, but it's not a bad game either. It's pretty simple. Your kids will be able to understand and play this game pretty easily. So it's not too much trouble. Most of the achievements are really simple. Like the hardest one is like, shoot 20 different targets. There's a bunch of very blatant targets in every level, and you just shoot 20 of them. That's the hardest achievement, I think, in the entire game. Yeah, it's very easy. And if an enemy catches you, you just go back to the last checkpoint that you earned, which sometimes is kind of a pain in the butt when you have to backtrack and because you missed an item that you wanted to pick up and didn't know you wanted to pick it up, because the game sometimes has split paths for you to take, and one of them is always the path you need to go on to continue the level, and the other one, that path ends usually in a collectible that you might want to grab, because lots of the collectibles are, here's some items for you so you can make your arrows, because you do have to make your arrows, and there are a finite amount of those items. They don't regrow or anything. So you want to grab those. Or, hey, here's a little journal or something that just gives you some more backstory in the world. I don't think those are required for achievements, but they help you get a little more into the world to understand what's going on. So when you get further in, you're like, oh yeah, there was a spot back there. That clearly wasn't the path forward, because this is the path forward. Let's go back. Sometimes that's a real big pain in the butt. And yeah, the game isn't super long. I think I beat it in one sitting, I think. And it was pretty late when I started it, I believe. So I would say it's probably like a 5-ish hour long game, maybe. It's not bad.
It's short, but is it fun? It's a $14 game. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's acceptable at $14. It's fine. I don't know if I would say it's fun or not fun. It's just kind of, it exists, and it's something you can spend your time playing.
Is it worth playing?
I'm not gonna. I think so. I don't think it's. If you like achievements, yeah, sure. If you're like, I don't care about achievements, I don't know. It probably not for you. But for people who want achievements, yeah, it's a nice, simple game. It's just one of those, it's okay, it's there type games. So I think $14, it's worth it. It's fine for that.
Cool. Sounds good. Next up, Dead Tomb, developed by CollectorVision, published by 8-Bit Legit, released January 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, and Switch for $4.99, releasing January 26th for the NES for $59.99 through the 8-Bit Legit website. Dead Tomb is a brand new fun point-and-click adventure game that will take you back to the heyday of retro gaming. Literally, it's an NES game. Your employer sends you on a study that takes you back in time, but as fate would have it, find yourself in a serious predicament. Bri, what is going on in Dead Tomb?
All right, so this is a retro-inspired adventure game where you have a list of text commands like look, move, open, take, and use, similar to games like Maniac Mansion. You've got hotspots with question marks that appear around a room, and you can interact with them using your text menu. Sometimes you might have to do some actions multiple times. I had to move some sand at the very beginning, like multiple times. I thought I was stuck at the very beginning of the game, and eventually my perseverance won, and I found a hole to crawl through. It was great. So yeah, your space-time ship, you're sent back to study the Ice Age, but you end up somehow stuck in ancient Egypt, and now you've woken up. You're stuck here. You have no idea what happened, and you got to find all the parts to fix your ship so you can get out of here. As you explore, you're going to use your verbs to figure out your way around obstacles. Movement is done in individual room scenes, and then you have an overmap of the pyramid of your discovered rooms, so you can travel back and forth between them. And there's cool little transition scenes as you're crawling or walking or going upstairs or whatever. The game comes in 2 languages, English and French, which is important to mention for later. It comes with a digital manual and border options like making it look like an old CRT TV. And you kind of actually have to read the manual to know that you need to do things like press a specific button to open your inventory, because there's really no game tutorial, which I felt was part of the old school feel. The game is pretty generous with dying from stupid stuff you try. You get to start pretty much right where you last were at. The game is also really generous with achievements. You don't even need to finish the game to get all of the achievements. And I want to point out again that this will actually be on NES, which is super cool. It's a limited run for that. But the game's retro nods go further. Normally you hear the phrase retro-inspired, and it means generically related to a bunch of stuff, retro titles from our history. But this is actually related to a piece of history. So bear with me here, because I've got some strong notes here. It's based on a game called Temporal Inc., a game that was available exclusively on the VideoWay system in the 1990s, and that was lost except for one recorded playthrough. VideoWay is a Canadian analog interactive cable TV subscription service out of Quebec. It was describing itself as the first interactive, addressable television entertainment system in North America. The service was in about 300,000 homes. The service had around 50 games to choose from and even had a TV show for teens featuring game competitions. It had games like Burger Time on it and other stuff you might have heard of, but there were some games unique to the system, including Temporal Inc. I know. They shut down the service in 2006 and destroyed almost all of the boxes, the cable boxes, meaning that all of these games were lost with the technology. But because of this surviving video, some fans remade it as a Flash game and called it Dead Tomb, and then this is an evolution of that. And just some other cool history I found, because I ended up going down quite the rabbit hole. This is not the only video service of its type. So in 1993, we had one in the US called LodgeNet, which was an interactive media service primarily for airplanes and hotels that used special TV remotes to play games like Super Mario World and F-Zero because they had a partnership with Nintendo.
Wow.
Pricing was $6.95 plus tax per hour, and the game would just stop at the end of the hour until you paid them more money. I found there's a lost media wiki. I ended up going down a rabbit hole and finding some cool stuff there. But so this is actually not just a new game that is retro. It is based on this really cool piece of lost
history.
media.
That is really awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris Taylor, for all the information.
Hey.
You definitely pulled a Chris with all your research on this one. Very impressive.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun figuring it out, and I had a lot of fun looking up the history, too.
Cool. Well, it's $5. What do you think?
Absolutely buy it.
Very cool. All right. One final game to talk about tonight is called Popcorn Rocket, developed and published by Battle Geek Plus. Released January 10th on Xbox One, Series X and S for $4.99. Popcorn Rocket is a silly food-based old-school arcade space shooter. Pilot the Popcorn Rocket as you blast through hordes of food spaceships in order to save the galaxy from the evil Nebula Empire. With a wacky cast of heroes and villains, Popcorn Rocket will leave your stomach wanting more. Jacob, tell us about Popcorn Rocket.
So Popcorn Rocket is a food-based shoot 'em up, top-down shoot 'em up, I should say, and pretty much it's a lot of popcorn gags, or jokes, I should say, and the game starts off as a tutorial that is absolutely hard as balls. And it just and it's also very frustrating too, because it's almost like the Kong Skull Island game that we hated so much from Game Mill, where it's just like, oh, by the way, this is how you do this, and this is how you do this, and by the way, you're not going to be able to do any of that kind of stuff, like for the rest of this tutorial. And by the time that like I finally beat the boss of this tutorial, it was just like what the heck? Like this game, like this guy's ship supposedly has all this stuff on it, and then you're just not going to let me use it. Like, it's not till like after I've beaten the tutorial that like the game actually starts, and it's not like, so what you it is an annoyingly... I like when you get
flustered with a game because you just like start 14 sentences but never finish any of them.
Well, it's because it's just like I've got like a bunch of thoughts about it, but it's just, it was a really frustrating game to play, and it's also a really frustrating game to describe. But essentially, like, I mean, with standard shoot 'em ups, you have to collect a bunch of stuff, which will upgrade your weapons or make certain abilities available. And this game is no different. Like, a lot of it is just like it floats around the screen after you kill a bunch of baddies, and if you save up enough, like, this will upgrade your laser. But the thing is that like there are so many of these power-ups that are just gone, like, you know, just gone immediately after like they show up, that it's just like I didn't even have a chance to grab the thing. It's not even like it floated off the screen. It just whoop, gone. And like by the time that you finally built up like some of this stuff for an attack, like you're dead already. And it's just everything is one-hit kills in this game. And it's just like it has some interesting ideas behind it, but the level of difficulty for it is just like, it's just stupidly hard for what it is. Like, and it's really unfortunate because I wanted to like this game. Like the characters in it, like the graphics, like they're all fun, like it's fun stuff. And like I thought this was gonna, it's also, well, yeah, that's another thing. It's deceptively hard because you go in there thinking this is gonna be a kid's game, and then it's like, nope, fuck you. So it's a hardcore shmup. Be ready if you're gonna try it.
Well, it's $4.99. Is it worth a try?
If you're a fan of the genre, I would suggest it as a try it. If you're not, no.
All right. Okie doke. Well, that is it for this episode. We made it through our first one back. I am ready to quit again. I hate this show. I hate all of you. Thank you so much for coming here and doing it, though. No, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here.
Even me?
No. Big thanks to Grant for coming on doing his thing. I have legitimately missed all of you so much. It's been a long month and a half. We're gonna jump back on and do this until the wheels fall off, I guess. So music this episode, since Grant was on, we'll play something for Metroid Metal. And does anyone have any final words to end the show?
I have some good ones. Thank you for hosting this show. This is a fantastic show to be a part of.
Why are you lying?
You're here.
I'm not. I actually do enjoy being on here. I even enjoy having you around sometimes, Jacob.
What?
Okay, now you're lying.
Yeah, now.
No, I said sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, just sometimes.
Yeah, you're lying.
Let's overblow that, okay? Just sometimes.
Here's to a good 2024.
We'll see.
Jacob, did you have any?
What? Good words?
Yeah.
I mean,